All right, good. Audio is fine. Good to go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Excuse me, guys. Apologize for that. All right, let's get things rolling here today. We got a lot to cover, to say the least. Couple of crazy news pieces, a whole lot that we're going to cover here today. It is Sunday, April 12th, 7:01 p.m., and we just saw Rory McIlroy just win his back-to-back Masters, fourth time that's ever been done in history. So let's get things rolling here today. But before we begin, got to let you know I am not acting in my capacity as a licensed financial professional. I'm simply here to show you opportunity. What you guys do with that opportunity is all up to you, as well as you got to be aware of any and all risk, understand that risk, be willing to accept that risk and take on that risk. And any trades that I show here today, if you decide to take those trades, just know you are doing so of and on your own volition there. Anybody's first time into this? Yes or no? Anybody's first time into one of our Sunday sessions? Yes or no, really quickly. Let's see. Warming New Jersey. I love it, William. Let's see here. Couple of, okay, good, good. Couple of first timers. Well, really quickly, for those of you guys in here that don't know me, Uh, my name is James Bishop. I have my MBA in finance and portfolio management. I'm also working on my doctorate in finance and economics as well. Let's see, I own a retirement and estate planning business where I help people retire tax free. I help people build wealth, protect wealth, and preserve wealth. That's the three big things that I do. Is I help people build wealth, protect wealth, and preserve wealth, and pass on wealth as well, all without, in the lowest tax consequences possible, potentially guaranteed returns in certain investments and things like that. And that's actually something that I do offer one-on-one consultations with myself or one of my team members as well. I have about 20 or so agents that work with me. Brent is one of those agents, for those of you guys that know Brent, and others as well. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later in the presentation. I also own a managed fund as well, and I love trading, and that's why I'm back into presentations and hosting these sessions. This is what I do every Sunday anyway, so I might as well. And I'm talking to myself while I'm doing it, so I might as well just stick a microphone in my front of me and share the info. You know what I mean? And share the info. Neil, good to see you as well, buddy. Um, so that's a little bit of that. Couple of housekeeping items. One is the Wealth Watch. This is a newsletter that I host. There's actually two of them. Let me get you. That's Wealth Watch. And I will send this out. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe now. Okay. The Wealth Watch is a newsletter that I host. I bring you guys fundamental news as well as technical news, trade setups, as well as what you need to be paying attention to in the market. Like we talked a little bit about stablecoin and the stablecoin act that's potentially going to pass, and then there's some stocks that would potentially really benefit from that. We talk about another thing that we'll talk about here tonight around consumption in the GDP equation and what's going on there and what you need to be paying attention to there. So this is something that is this is free. So it's right. It's absolutely free. So I think it's affordable by everybody. I tried to keep the price low on that one. So somebody said kind of surprised to see stablecoin commentary, not too many others talking about it in your arena. The reality is stablecoin, look, it's there's something going on there. There's also, it removes the shadow banking laws. There's a lot of little things that are happening there that I I think can burn a lot of people. And so my mission, preserve, build, and protect and pass on wealth. Those four things. right? Preserve, build, protect, and pass on. And so, with that preserving and protecting, that's what I look to do. So that's why, I don't mind mentioning stuff like that. That's one of the newsletters. I'd honestly have to go through and try to find the other one. The other one's called Energy Watch. I'll make sure I send that out. I think actually, hold on one second. Let me see if I can find it here. Um, let's see. Give me 1 second. Move this over to this and search here. Let me search one more thing. If I can't find it with this, then I will send it out in a second. I didn't even think about it. I thought I bookmarked this, but apparently not. Apparently not. So, all right, that's fine. Oh, here it is. Copy link. This is the Energy Watch. So Energy Watch is around all things energy. There's some technology plays in there because energy affects technology. There is oil, gas, natural gas, solar energy, all of that. There's some great opportunities in these markets. And this is a free newsletter as well. Both of these come out every single day. I record the videos every single morning, and they are out to you guys, and they're both free. So subscribe if you can, and I'm going to bookmark this one so I do not lose it. And then the other is our Discord channel. That's the last thing I will share with you guys right now. This is a free Discord channel. This is this is a area where everybody in here can comment to each other, talk with each other, share ideas, show ideas, things like that. It's a really, really good resource to for everybody to talk with everybody on this, and so and in this market as well. So feel free to join this. This is absolutely free. It will always stay free. Let's see. Is there just one subcategory in Discord? Nothing else to unlock? Correct. Correct. There's just one. I'm very simple, right? If it's easy, then it's for me when it comes to that. So, Jerry, that may just be you that lost audio there. Oh, he said he's got it back. Okay, cool. Perfect. So that is all you need to do is click on the link that I just sent you for the Discord and subscribe. That link is only good for 7 days. So if you want to subscribe, now's the time to do it. If you don't subscribe, you may miss out. Okay. Just letting you know. This week's fundamental news announcements. So this is this week's fundamental news. Feel free to screenshot this. Right. Feel free to screenshot this and type in done when you got it done. Tuesday, we have CPI for March. That'll be an interesting report, to say the least. I think Monday will be kind of well, I don't know. Let me shut my mouth there after what news we saw this weekend as well. Wednesday, we have retail sales. That is a number I'm going to be very, very, very paying attention to. Initial jobless claims as well coming out on Thursday. Building permits and housing starts on Thursday as well. And then Friday, we have consumer sentiment. All of these announcements are critical or high as well. CPI is monthly. It comes out every month, but they do give you quarter over quarter, year over year, and month over month, and they give you core CPI and regular CPI. Does everybody know the difference between core and regular? If you don't, type in no. If you do, type in yes. I just want to make sure. Okay. Okay, perfect. That's all right if you don't. I'm glad that you don't, right? See, so and we'll take a brief second to talk about that. So the difference in core CPI and total CPI is core CPI removes energy and food. So it removes energy and food. Why? Because energy and food are not set prices by the US, they're set on a global scale. The other side of it is that food is, is also set on somewhat of a global scale as well. And it's also weather dependent. Well, this year, I personally am definitely watching both of them like a hawk. Especially with what's gone on in the Middle East. I think there is going to be, if there's like three big things, and none of them have to do with oil, that are coming out of the Middle East, and Iran and everything in the Straits of Hormuz that we in the U.S. absolutely must have. And those three things are going to impact inflation unless we somehow, some way, quick, fast, and I mean extremely quick, fast, and in a hurry, change some things. Okay. One of those being fertilizer, and that's we need nitrogen for fertilizer. The second is helium, helium being necessary for all manufacturing of wafers for chips. And the third being gold prices. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well today. Next, we have a whole slew of different banks and a couple other companies reporting earnings this week. We have JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Goldman Sachs all reporting, and Morgan Stanley. So 5 major banks reporting earnings as well. And let's see. Then you have United Healthcare, Delta, Taiwan Semiconductor, and Netflix as well, all reporting earnings this week. Screenshot this and type in done when you got it screenshotted, and you can post this to the Discord if you want to, or any other channels that you'd like to. Neil, thank you. Beautiful. Good. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, it is. April 15th is tax day. That is for sure. That money is due. I'm not looking forward to whatever my accounting department tells me I have to send a check for. I promise you that. That is one thing I am not looking forward to. Oh, hold on 1 second. Oh, gotcha. Let's see. Where are the links? What do you mean, where are the links, Jackson? Ah, I'll send the Discord link again. I sent it in the chat earlier. I'll send it again. This is the Discord. This is the Energy Watch newsletter. And then I'll send the other one as well. Wealth Watch. Perfect. So, now let's go ahead and we're going to cover some news here before we jump in the charts. So, how do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? We'll start here. Yeah, we'll start here. So, Iran and U.S. peace talks in without a deal, leaving the 2-week ceasefire in doubt, which I don't even really call it a ceasefire because less than 24 hours after the ceasefire, you had Israel firing missiles at Lebanon, Lebanon firing missiles back. You had Netanyahu saying that there's more of a takeover that needs to happen, and this is only the beginning, and then the U.S. and da-da-da. So, let's see. Iran's uranium stockpiles and control over Straits of Hormuz were reportedly key sticking points. Interestingly enough, Iran, like their nuclear waste was picked up by Russia, and then another country provided them like it was very regulated to them. So again, this whole deal is just a very interesting deal. There's hopefully no immediate return to hostilities. However, Trump said that the U.S. is about to blockade the Straits of Hormuz after this failed deal. So, and then Saudi Arabia restored the pumping capacity to the East West pipeline. So that helps with oil. Three oil super tankers sailed through the Hormuz Strait on Saturday, including two Chinese ships as well. Let's see, is that FactSet an expensive news site? So this is actually like a Bloomberg terminal, and it's $5,000 a month is what it costs. So about 60 grand a year. And then on top of it, there's other data feeds and stuff like that to pay for as well. So let's just call it about 70 grand for the year for this. So and it's not just that. So like a Bloomberg terminal, for instance, like I can connect my portfolio to this and trade it. This is actually what I use to manage a endowment fund for the university. And the university that I'm at pays for this for me because I'm still on the board of that endowment fund. But it is let's see, and you trust it that much. I mean, it's hard not to say the least. Hard not to. And then on top of it, like, let's just say I wanted to search for, any stock. Like if I looked up ASTS, right? Just like a random stock. Not only can I get, just like a basic, like, hey, what's the price? But I get a history of it. I can get all of their information from their 10K in a single spot. I can look at who owns the stock and what are the key competitors. Where do they do business? What is their supply chain? Where do they get their parts from? What areas could be affected from their supply chain, what companies provide the parts in their supply chain. So I can get what's called pass-through trading as well. So it's a next level tool. Like you're not, and I'll be honest with you. Does anybody need this? Or unless you're managing a few million or more at a time, then no, I don't think so. And it's all, if you're managing money for clients, then I think you need something this level. But if you're managing, your own personal portfolio and stuff like that, then no, I really don't think that like you have to have this, right? Like you don't have to have something like this. So you can also, I have screeners that are just insane to be able to use and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff in here that I don't use for this presentation, but use on a daily. So the other, let's see. There was one other piece of news that I wanted to talk about. Let's actually look at something else I wanted to bring up. I got that CRS, can't remember stuff. There we go. Forex Factory is another site that I use. It's a lot cheaper. It's free. So this is a site I'll send everybody right now. Okay. I'll send everybody right now. Let's see. So this site is absolutely free. It'll show you global news and things like that. We're going to look at CPI data. Let's see, none. I'm going to go US, apply, and it's this week. Sorry, CPI was last week. I don't know why I did this week. I must have set the dates wrong. PPI is coming up. So correct that. PPI is coming up. But PPI is the producer power index or producer purchaser index. And so what that is like, it's a pre-measure of what the inflation to come. So we were forecasted to have 1% inflation, but we came in at 0.9. Year over year was 3.3. Inflation is back to the levels it was in like 2022. Now, I do think this comes down if and when whatever is happening in the Middle East kind of comes to a head. The other interesting thing, which I think is hilarious, that it's a low impact announcement because why would anybody care? But the budget is negative $164 billion this month. And last month it was negative $307 billion, meaning we spent $164 billion more than we are bringing in. So phenomenal, phenomenal for us, right? Let's see. Yeah, that I use this for years as well. I think it's a great site for everything. The last piece of news that I want to talk about, and then this is going to lead into some of our trades that we're going to talk about here today, and this is from Tech Radar. This was published 2 days ago. This is something that I think is just make sure that you pay attention to. Okay. Kyla, no, I do not. Just make sure you pay attention to what I'm about to say. If you leave here with nothing else today, just leave here with this. Between 1/3 and half of all US data centers planned for the year of 2026 are likely to be delayed or totally canceled, Bloomberg reports, amid ongoing supply chain challenges and campus location concerns. How about that, my friends? How about that? That just tells you probably everything that you need to know right now. Okay. So it's not even just the not enough energy. So one of the things that I mentioned earlier, right, was helium. And I think this is so funny. Like, let me just say this really quickly. There's a TV show that I watched. It's with Owen Wilson. It was on Apple TV. It was about golf. It was a little cutesy show, whatever, kind of like a Ted Lasso-esque show. And this woman was obsessed with investing in helium. And she said it's going to skyrocket. And then lo and behold, that show ended about like 8-9 months ago. And lo and behold, 8-9 months later, I start looking into this because looking at all of the exports from the Middle East and the areas affected by this war. And wouldn't you know it, that Qatar are they export 70% of our 70% of the global helium supply comes from Qatar. And that infrastructure has been destroyed. Well, when you don't have helium, it is a major component in and it can't be substituted in chip manufacturing and memory manufacturing. And lo and behold, she was right all along, right? She was right all along. Hey, Jonas, did you get my text this week? I didn't know that. If you got those. So it's not even just the power, Robert. It's the helium for production. It's also financing. It's also states want to slow the process down because we've had, people are going to be losing a lot of jobs as AI grows. Okay. Let's see. Yvette. No. That show wasn't canceled. Keith, that is one of the best comments of the day. So that is what it was. It was just like a scripted TV show. It was like Ted Lasso. Okay. Right. Yeah. It was a Ted Lasso type show. It was about golf. It was not even like great, but it was just funny that the show talked about helium the whole time. So, Jonas, yeah, no worries at all. I'll send those again to you here in just a little bit, but one of the biggest ones is Stargate, right? Stargate has been one of the biggest delayed things that we've had. The reason for that is the three companies can't decide who's going to do what, and then the other is that you have the other is like the chip manufacturing. Can they get all the supplies that they need, et cetera? There's so many different things happening with that. So let me see here. Guys, give me one quick second. I need to send some links again. Ah, gotcha. That's the Discord, and then the last link I'll send you right now. There you go. There's all three. So, that is a very, Stargate, that was going to be a massive project. The other thing is, I think that there's also going to be some interesting like issues around several different companies. One of the companies I actually am very, very bullish on, and I want you guys all to look for your entries on, is Tesla. Okay. Tesla is definitely going to be, in my opinion, one of the biggest companies that you're going to want to be paying attention to. Not only, hold on one second. That's weird. All right, I'm going to use a version of. There we go. Perfect. So not only, and I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to go Tesla. We're on a daily as well. There we go. And give me 1 second here. And put this on daily. So even though Tesla has had, a pretty major sell off up until this point, I do think Tesla is going to come back and come back quickly. Okay, I do think Tesla will come back and come back quickly. Tesla will not have any part of SpaceX or XAI. Nalini, I'm sure if we go into it and we go to Tesla, there is definitely going to be some co-ownership, and even regardless of that, there's already a co-funded and building project happening amongst those three companies. So one of the things that I read in Elon Musk's biography over a year and a half ago, and we talked about this over a year and a half ago, if you were in one of these sessions a year and a half ago, which was that Elon, in his biography, talked about they were manufacturing their own AI data chips. That's what it was. There was like half a page dedicated to this. And I thought that is one of the biggest things in there. And so I immediately went and bought Tesla at $164. And I just keep rebuying it at every major dip. And I'm just going to hold it for a while. And then what was announced, right at the start of this war was TerraFab. TerraFab is a joint venture between Tesla, between SpaceX, and between XAI, right? Tesla, SpaceX, and XAI are all building a AI data center, wouldn't you know it, using Tesla chips. You powered probably by First Solar. So Tesla, think about this, right? It'll probably have a solar roof from a Tesla roof. It will also have First Solar solar panels. It will also producing its own energy. It will have Tesla designed and built and manufactured AI chips. It'll have, Grok AI will get a ton of data points. And then SpaceX providing all of the engineering and other powering mechanisms as well. So if we look at this, right, there's more than likely there is some definite ownership of other companies. If we look at PE and VC investments, would you look at the number one company that Tesla owns? I don't know if you can see that, Nalini, or not, but it says, because it's very, very tiny, and I'm not saying anything about anybody's eyes. I'm just telling you. XAI is one of the companies that it owns. How about that? Who'da thunk it? Right? You see that? Like that's just that tells you. And then you go in and you go look at, okay, well, who's investing in Tesla on a private equity scale? Well, you have Toyota, you have Middle Eastern companies, Vantage Point. You have I'm surprised. Oh, Kimball Musk. There you go. That's Elon's brother, who's a chef. If you didn't know that now. But yes, so XAI is partly owned by Tesla. There you go. And I didn't even have to kind of dive too deep into that. That's why you pay $5,000 a month for this software. So yeah. So and then by proxy, when SpaceX when SpaceX goes public, it's going to be an all over like push for everything, Elon. Part of me, and I'm just going to say this, is part of me feels that this is a little bit, we're seeing a little bit of, how to put this. Uh, Am I on Heikinashi? Yes, I am. Okay. We're seeing a little bit of people selling off their Tesla positions to jump into SpaceX whenever it does go public. Right? Whenever it does go public. So we will see. Right now, Tesla did fill the gap that we were looking for it to fill right back here. Right? It did fill this gap, but we do still have a downward ABCD swing. 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. That it may complete. That D extension is reached right here. So we may pull back to 398 and push down to 308, which wouldn't surprise me, right? It would not surprise me at all if we did fall another $30. But ultimately, I still think that Tesla is going to be one of the most valuable companies in the world, especially even after SpaceX launches. I still do believe that with everything they have going on and everything they're producing in this new data center, it is going to be massive. It's comparatively to some of these other centers where they're talking about, 15 gigawatts or 100 gigawatts. He is doing a 6 terawatt data center. It's like 6 times the size of the largest data center, and he's doing it in the middle of nowhere, West Texas, right? Middle of nowhere, West Texas. So that's one of those opportunities that I think that and it's a good price right now. Now, would I buy it right this very second? No, I would more than likely. I'm gonna take off my system here for a second. I would more than likely just say, okay, here is my channel that we're in. And when I break this channel, then yes, I will buy it. But until I break said channel, I won't buy it, right? If you're not in it now, then that's the way I would look at it. Now, is it going to continue to rally up and fall down and rally up and fall down? Yes, absolutely. More than likely it will, right? So do they need helium? Yes, they will need helium, but I'm sure, will figure out a way around it. If anybody does, it would be him. And the reason why is because when most engineering companies think of, hey, what's the most complicated way we can do something? One of the things about like him, love him, hate him, I don't really care. The thing you got to think about is he knows how to engineer around problems, right? He knows how to engineer around problems. If he can land the rockets and catch him with a chopstick all because he thought it would be funny and then does it, I'm pretty sure he'll figure that out, right? So next is we are going to look at some NQ here. So let me go to my regular watch list. We are going to look at a little bit of NQ. If we look at it on the daily, we can see that, hey, we just had a massive gap down, and let's drop it down to a 15-minute just so we can see what the heck we need to be paying attention to. And I'm just going to make a quick adjustment to this system. Let's see. Yes, Kyla, he does want to build data centers in space. I don't think the technology is there yet for that, if I'm being perfectly honest. Um, I just don't see it yet for that type of technology. Main reason is because, we'd have to figure out the data highway for, because you have satellites that are broadcasting internet, you have satellites that are broadcasting telecommunications and all other sorts of things. So figuring out the broadcasting and then what orbital level, all of that would have to be approved before that happens, but it's possible to do. Absolutely possible to do. Oh, no, no, no. There will be regulation. If you can dream it, they'll regulate it. And you live in the city for that, so it may take 20 years. But what we did see this morning, or this afternoon, right at market open, right, we saw a massive drop. This is in response to closing the straits again, and so I anticipate there's a lot of this to get this kind of bullish move that we had on Tuesday when we entered in these peace talks in the evening. I anticipate there to be quite a bit of drop in the market, and I am going to go ahead and I'm going to be either Nostradamus or Nostradamus on this one. And I'm going to tell you that the NQ will hit 24,416.50. That is what I'm going to tell you. And that is probably going to happen. And that's a 500-point fall times $12.50. You can do the math there. It's a good amount of change for you. So unless I see some sort of massive change in the news, all of a sudden, they want the peace deals happen, and something. It would have to be a major move for this to kind of not fall down here. But ultimately, I do anticipate. Yes, I anticipate some of this getting pulled back. I think Monday, Tuesday, this is what my outlook is on the week. If I were to go here, this would be Monday, Tuesday, maybe all the way back up here. I don't know. I think, Sunday night into Monday, then Monday morning into Monday evening, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And that's kind of the move I'm anticipating here, right? Gold is down pre-market. Yep, absolutely. That makes sense. Oil is up 9.32% on CL. Now, in the Energy Watch video, if you guys do subscribe, you'll see this video here. So I sent this video out on April 10th or April 11th, sorry. And it's understanding oil pricing systems. You see, there's a lot of different ways oil is priced. There is what's called delivery. Okay. And that's oil that is that's just been paid for. And that includes all those shipping costs, port costs, offloading costs, and all of that on top of the price of oil. That is sitting at like $160 a barrel right now, probably 170, 180 after tonight. So that's why gas prices won't come down drastically even though we saw price of oil come down drastically over the last couple of days. And then there's Brent crude, and Brent is a mix of all three types of oil. So your sweet, your light, and your sour. And Brent crude is sitting at 91 right now, although there's usually about a $6 spread between Brent and oil futures. So I anticipate Brent crude to go from 91 probably to back to 100 because we're sitting at, unless CL has a major correction overnight, which I'm sure it will pull back, right? Gaps like this don't stay around for too long. Gaps like this don't stay around for too long. So unless we have a major pullback into this gap tonight or what or sometime soon, then we're probably going to see a down day tomorrow. All right. So gaps will be filled. So gold, and we'll look at gold really quickly as well. And as you guys can see, gold way down as well. We closed Friday at like 4,700 and we're already down to 4680. So that is a big drop in gold as well. And we're also going to look at a couple of other stocks really quickly. Give me 1 second here. Wrong Gmail. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So on our Sunday session stocks that we typically look at, a couple that I'm going to add to the list today, TSM. Somebody asked me to look at VCX. You just hold it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just hold the damn thing. Here, this is why you're holding VCX. I'll send you so fundrise.com is the company. VCX is the ticker. Here are your holdings by VCX. You have 20.7%, a company called Anthropic. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're going to go public this year. Probably going to be a big public. You have SpaceX, 5% of their holdings. You have Databricks, OpenAI. They're going to go public this year. This stock is just going to be one of those that you hold for a while and you don't worry about. Okay. You don't worry about at all. So, let's see. Let's see. Good question. So I'm going to read Nalini's question and I'm going to comment on that. And then we're going to get into a few other stocks as well. And we can do a Forex pair too as well. So no deal with Iran until Iran hands over uranium rights. Then with the straight close, why does oil hike if oil is abundant in the U.S. Coast? Oil is not as abundant as people think. And because there's different mixes of oil, we are quote unquote energy independent because we export a lot of LNG, liquid natural gas. We aren't major exporters of oil. Here's how you know, okay? Let me just, what state is vastly associated with oil in America? You guys type it in right now. What state is vastly associated with oil? Texas. Do you know what the energy grid of Texas is based on? Like, if you had to guess, what do you think produces energy in Texas? It's solar and wind. Solar and wind. Just throwing that out there. Let's see. Does the US have any refineries or is it shipped out? We do refine our own oil, right? We do that as well. Solar, yeah, it's great that it's solar and wind. Yeah, absolutely. If that's, look, I don't care how people feel about the thing anyway. I am all just, here's the facts, and then however you feel about the facts is fine. Like, it is what it is. The only time I did care is that when I lived in Texas during the snowstorm and the wind and the snow, seized up the windmills, and the power got cut to our house, and 280,000 gallons of water rolled through my home office, and I lost everything. You know what I mean? That's just saying that. You know what I mean? that I was a little bit pissed off about, and I think anybody would be, right? And that was 2022. Um, and it was funny. I decided to put all of my extremely nice dress shoes, presidential autographs from when I met three sitting presidents, and all this other stuff in there, and my degrees, everything just blown to smithereens, to say the least. So that was the only time I really cared what powered the state. But it just goes to show you that it's not all what it seems, right? We get these reports that we're energy independent and we produce this and we produce that. Yes, but the other thing is that you also have to remember oil is not priced based on where you live. Oil is priced globally. There isn't it's a global market, right? It's not oh, well, it's one price in the Middle East, it's another price in Russia, and it's another price in America, and it's another price in South America, and it's another price in China. Absolutely not, right? So Shirley. It's you know what, Shirley? It's all stuff at the end of the day. As long as my family, my dogs, and are all okay, stuff is whatever. That's something I lived with a long time ago. When I moved to where I'm living today, that was move number 60 in my life, and that's because of military. So you can imagine how much stuff I lost in my life. So I appreciate the sentiment, though. But the thing I was saying is that, like, oil is priced globally. It's not a price based on the US. So if the Straits of Hormuz are closed and that produces and 20% of global oil passes through the straits, well, that's 20% less supply in the market. Well, if there's 20% less supply in the market, then what happens to the price? Then you also factor in that Russian oil plays a part in this as well, because there were subsidies on Russian oil. We don't have those subsidies for another 15 days. So on April the 27th, those subsidies, unless they're extended, we removed all not subsidies. What is the word I'm looking for? Penalties. We'll just use that. We added some stuff to Russian oil to make people not want to buy it. And so because of that, nobody was buying it. Well, because of the Straits of Hormuz, Trump lifted that, and that is going on until April the 27th. That happened on March 27th, and that was to help offset supply. Here's the problem with that, though. Russia, and I'm just saying this, just going to throw this out there. And I may be doing a session in the next couple of days. If I do, I'll be sharing that with you. It'll be during the week. It'll be like a 3-day event. And this is one of the things I'll talk about. So just give you a preview. Russia is not trading oil in US dollars. Sanctions. That's the word I was looking for. Sanctions. My goodness gracious. Okay. My goodness gracious. Sanctions is the word. Thank you, David and William and DJ. I appreciate that. Right. Thank you for that. Sanctions was the word I was looking for. So that's the three big ones there. So let's get into some of the other stocks. Let's see. Let's go. I saw somebody want to Google Microsoft, MSFT, Netflix, NFLX. I saw some more earlier. My good old friend pal, the Tears. And then Priyanka, I saw you ask for some as well, but I lost them in this chat. So if you can throw them in here again for me. Oh, whoa. Circle. Carvana. ASTS. Soxel. Empty tankers are headed for the U.S. to get oil. We'll see, Stu. We'll see. We'll see. AAOI. I mean, it could be that Venezuelan oil that we're getting as well. That also takes a, you know, takes a that also takes, issue there. Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about that when we get to Palantir, but let me run through a few of these. This should be a good enough because I am going to have to jump out at some point because I do have a second meeting, but I'm not speaking at it today. So it's a little bit easier for me to go a little bit longer. Let me go. Let's take a look. I'm going to set this up for the daily again. And guys, if you're wondering, this is a system that I built. This is something that is going to come out. I added in so many cool things with this, like the ability to use it on stocks and futures, the ability to have, you can set profit targets based on ticks, or you can set it based on average trading ranges. You can set this to look at your trading account and tell you if you're going to have when you have a 2% drawdown. There is time filters, something to stop you from entering in choppy markets, all sorts of things. So this is going to be coming out in next few days, maybe a week. I don't know. We'll see. But you all will be invited to when I release it. It's going to be one of those tools that I am excited for people to have for sure. So Lululemon, we got a buy the other day. It shot up to 163. It closed at 163 on Friday. We were as high as 167. We have broken the downtrend. We are in the buy zone. We are still in a bullish opportunity, and I am still bullish on this opportunity. I think that we will see this back into the probably 190-ish range. My immediate short-term target is here. Midterm target is 276. Long-term target 330. And that's where I'm looking at for Lululemon. So we'll be doing that. Let's see. Yeah, Josh, it's funny. Josh, so just so you know, Josh and I, we basically started within a year of each other at the same company and his dad's company. And he was an analyst and I worked with the company as well, and then moved into an analyst position. So yeah, I knew exactly what Josh released as well, but this is actually different indicator. I didn't even realize it, but two people work on same thing and they end up looking similar. Well, there you go. So mine is built with, let's see, selling a bullish opportunity. No. Buying. I'm going to sell my buy at 179, 276, 329. So, then let's run to UNH. UNH, I don't know if you guys read, but there's potential regulation that may force Medicare patients into the hands of private insurers, and that's going to be a big change. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that that's going to be a big change. That's going to affect a lot of people, and it's going to make these companies extremely profitable if it goes through, and it's going to potentially increase costs of healthcare. Just going to throw that out there. Or service of healthcare won't be as good as it used to be for Medicare patients. But we are kind of in, this is what I call no man's land. So look, if you're in UNH and you're profitable and you're okay with taking just this profit, take this profit and run. Because we have in this, right, we have a gap down here and we have a gap up here. And we're like in the middle of this gap. And so we will see what happens with this gap. If you are wondering, do I close now or not? Well, this is how I would decide that if I were you. Me, I'm not getting out of this. This is something I'm holding for till it's like $500 and some. Well, at least half my position will be there. I would set a counter trend line this way. And if it breaks this and closes below it, I'm getting out. If I needed to protect the profit. If I am here, I also have a counter trend line here. And if it breaks this above, then I know we're going to 347. I do believe that we're going to go to 347. I'm not, I don't think that that's not happening, but I think we will fill this gap first. Right. I could see us falling $20 and then rising $60. And then long term, again, going to 583. That's just where it's going to be. Right. Strangles could work. Yeah. If you're going for the option as well as that. So, absolutely. No worries, Jonas. And let's see. Yeah, I think I texted you like earlier this week. So, I'll check it whenever I get done with here. So I got IPI listed right there, so don't worry about that. We'll get to it. NTLA, that one is still doing extremely well. We're up $4.50 right now per share since we started that stock. That's doing really, really well. MSTY, that's MSTR. We're getting paid dividends on that, and then once the stock begins to rally, we'll be good to go. ABTC, this is my Trump Bitcoin company thing. That was the just whatever, right? We bought it at $3.54. It's only at 95 cents right now. And quite honestly, if it goes to zero, don't care. If it goes back up to $5, great. I have a pending sell and I'm out. OKLO, we actually had a really good week in OKLO and SMR as well. Those small nuclear reactor companies, they benefit from all of the excess cost of oil energy and cold energy and all of that. They will ultimately benefit because we'll turn to these small nuclear reactor companies to power these data centers, to power our grid, to offset some of the oil. Think about this, right? If we got off of oil and put nuclear reactors in places that powered energy via oil, that would, one, modernize the grid, two, help power the grid long term. And so let's see. Actually, the US built nuclear power plants in China. How about that? Wrap your head around that one, okay? Wrap your head around that one. The US is the one that built the nuclear power plants it was actually a Bill Gates deal. But yes, we did break the downward trend line, so we are closed above it. I could foresee this getting back up there, right? Could foresee this getting back up here into the 115 area. So at $49, hey, I'm totally fine with it. We have the only cautionary tale on this stock is this right here. $40.16 is the bottom gap. So if you're not in it, maybe wait and see if it hits that $40.16 before we go up. Let's go to Nokia. We've been in and out and in and out of, and we've made some good money. Isn't that right, Dennis? In Nokia, Dominion Energy, we're still holding on to. Charter Communications, we are up $25.32 a share right now in CHTR, which is phenomenal. CHTR. Did anybody buy this? Yes or no? Anybody buy this yet or no? Dennis, $1,500 times 3. I love it. So if you hadn't bought it, hey, maybe now's the time, right? It's sitting at 218. You're probably going to pull back a little bit. I would look to buy it at 192, right? There's a gap down here at 192. If you hadn't bought it yet, 192 is a great price point to buy it. If you have bought it, phenomenal. You can look to, if you want to close out, you can close out there, or you can close out right. You can hold it. If it breaks above the counter trend line there, we're going to keep buying it. I'm looking at this to get to 380. That is one of, let's see. So somebody said, hey, who is we are you referring to? People following your daily newsletter, private investors, or paid subscription and alert service. I announced it in this Sunday session to buy it. So awkward. Back on March the 8th, so about a month ago. We're up about 25.32 in that. PPTA, this is a absolute phenomenal play. This is one of those companies. I talked about this in the newsletter. Antimony is going to be needed. They are set to mine 1/3 of all U.S. antimony production will be mined by good old Peter Thiel and his company Perpetua Resources. Palantir. So, the whole mythos and all of that with Claude is going to be great and Anthropic. But remember, Anthropic, which is Claude, is been banned by the Department of Defense from any government services. So when people kind of remember that and wake up from that, this is going to go right back up. I know, and look, they're building the whole social credit score system on the US. They have approval from the Trump administration, approved that a while ago. There are gaps in the chart. There's one way down here at $42, but I'm telling you, this is going to be one of those stocks. It's just going to hover, and then it'll come out. There'll be some big legislation, and people will realize how much government investment is in a company like Palantir. Right? If we go to PLTR, and let's look at ownership activity here. Let's see who's adding to it. Well, would you look at that? BlackRock, Norges Bank Investment, JP Morgan, Wellington, BMO, Goldman Sachs, RBC Capital, and Citadel all are in there. Holder analysis, mutual funds and investment advisors and hedge funds, private banking as well. And then if we go into just your over snapshot, I mean, they have so much government work that the private sector doesn't matter as much as the government sector for them, because they'll just charge more when they need to, kind of deal. Yeah, Burry is shorting like crazy. Look, I think it's there's a short-term short opportunity on this. I think we may see it rally up to 183 and then fall to 96. If you want to get out and rebuy in at these lows. For me, I'm just going to DCA when it hits these targets. I'm not DCAing every single time. I'm not DCAing every single wave. I own the stock. I'm going to continue to own the stock, and I'm not worried about where the stock's going to go. So, let's see. Then, I mean, it's going to happen anyway, right? So might as well make some money from it. So let's get into a few more of these. VCX. Look, VCX, it ain't going nowhere. There was a scale, like some crazy rise in VCX for whatever reason, shot all the way up to $575. I did take some profit there, but I re-entered in at lows. I know several individuals have, and then it's just sat sideways from there. If we drop down, I'm going to put it on like a 4-hour chart. You guys can see it's just been consolidating here, waiting for the next rally up. When SpaceX, Anthropic, or something like that goes public, that's going to give this a massive rally up, and this will be another way, right? It's going to get to that 232 to 250, 250-ish area in no time, but it's just going to, you just hold it. That just is what it is. I'm not Miss Cleo the psychic, right? I just let's see. Let's go to TSM. TSM, this is going to be a stock to watch this week. This is going to show you how resilient the tech sector is going to be based on these earnings. This is going to give you a really good insight here. Now, I'm still looking at gap analysis. You guys, we did this last week, or 2 weeks ago. but 307, 254, 179, 169, 152. Obviously, we know that it's a well overbought, right? There is a one of the formations that of patterns that I use a lot is what's called a king's crown. We do have a king's crown here going on. We'll see if this pattern holds true. If it does hold true, watch out. Because that means that this is going to fall down to somewhere in the 293 mark, which would fit in with our 307 gap. All right. So I anticipate TSM to fall. We'll see what their earnings look like. Do I think that I think their forward guidance is going to look better than their actual earnings, and we'll see how that plays out when it comes to the stock itself. I buy shares personally. I do some options. You know, I used to do a lot of options. Now I just do shares. So let's see. Let's go Google, Microsoft, and Netflix. The Goog. It's all tech's going to look very similar. Fell down, pulled up, probably going to fall back down. Just is what it is. Tech is way overvalued, you know? I think it'll also be really interesting because they've gotten rid, a lot of companies are getting rid of so many employees in the tech sector ever since, Square announced that they're getting rid of 40% of their staff. It has other companies looking at it like, hey, what's going on? Which, my goodness, like everybody, gave Elon so much crap when he said, hey, Twitter was just overinflated with a bunch of staff and it could run on a third of the staff. And wow, everybody talked so much crap about him in the tech world until now. And look at what happened, right? So, outlook on Google, 255 could be in the cards. That would fill all of these gaps. I would at least like to see this gap filled, 304.29, before I started really, really buying it again. So just be on the lookout for that. Okay. That is Google. Let's go Microsoft. Yeah, most are complaining it's not as good as it used to be, but people haven't left. People haven't left. He kind of turned it into the company he wanted it to be. Not some company that was broadcasting MLB or the NFL or this, that, and the third, right? He was turning it into the company he wanted it to be. Now, Microsoft, I actually feel that Microsoft is one of those tech companies that is poised to move up, right? Microsoft is one of those tech companies that is poised to move up, not down. I think they did a lot of their major pain over a while when they were investing in OpenAI and not getting any returns. But now they said, hey, we're going to cut ties with that and we're going to start building our own AI system because what they put in a Copilot absolutely stunk. So we're going to look for something else. And so I could see Microsoft moving back up to like 402, maybe even 478. Again, we want to see some major changes here, right? We want to make sure that we break, close, and stay above a downward trend line. We've broken it. We closed above it. Let's make sure over the next couple of days that it stays above it, especially, you could give it a little bit of a buy with earnings coming in at the end of this month. Right now wouldn't be a horrible time to buy it. Probably late Monday afternoon. If the market kind of rolls over and pulls back again, I think this will be a good buy. But this is something else. Let's see. And dump Windows 11. Dennis, you know me, I'm an all Apple person. So what can I say? So this is this is a
good opportunity for this stock, tech wise. And let's see here. Let's go. We already did Palantir, Netflix, NFLX. Netflix, we see it shooting up. My first target on Netflix is 107.52, right? We had the sell off. I told you guys to sell it off there. I'm looking for this gap to get filled. I don't know how or why or what created this U-turn in it. We'll see what their earnings looks like. I think they will have better than expected earnings. They report this week on Thursday. So if they have a miss on earnings, right? Because of maybe subscribers are down or people staying at the lower tier prices or something like that, then we will see this fall. There's just one company I want to talk about really quickly that's a little off list, but I've talked about them in the past. Good old Disney and Datney. You're seeing them rebound a little. Don't buy into this. Don't buy into this. I live in Orlando, Florida. How about that? Um, you know, and on our all of our local program, in Orlando, we're a tourist economy and we get massive amount of tourism from obviously Disney, Universal, and even our convention center does like $4 billion a year. It did prior to COVID. I don't know what it does right now in convention, economy stuff. Well, Disney came out with a local report. I don't know if it made national news or not. You guys tell me. But Disney said here that they are bracing for an absolute, like, a generous size pullback in the number of park visitors. They're already seeing it because people just can't afford it, right? People just can't afford it. And that actually leads me to one other thing that we talked about in one of my videos this week, which was last week. For one of the first times ever, we saw, was it last week or was it the week before? I got thrown off because of Easter and us not having our session. But this right there, right? This right here. Personal income fell and personal spending was still higher, but not as high as it had been. So that's starting to fall. Well, first of all, let me just ask you this. You and your household, if you just all of a sudden lost, I don't know, a tenth of your income, would you spend 50% more? Yes or no? And then on top of that, gas prices and food prices are up. If we don't work out this nitrogen issue and fertilizer issue, then we're going to see a massive jump in food prices. Because if we don't produce the corn, then beef and chicken and other things get more expensive. If we don't produce the cotton and the wheat and the soy, then what we trade out and what we bring in gets more expensive, and there's fewer amount of it. And then fruits and vegetables could get more expensive, and it is going to be bad. I read people are spending tax refunds out. People always spend those tax refunds, right? People always spend those tax refunds, but how long is an extra? You know how high, you know how much? Yeah. Kathy, I understand what you said. She said, hey, they're bigger than normal this year. Do you, did you seem to catch how much larger they are this year? It's a whopping $300. How much? when I, I'll be honest, okay, filled up my wife's car last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever. It was $90. And I mean, she has a Jeep Grand Cherokee, so, and it's the bigger one or whatever. Um, and then still have the Tesla, and that cost me $8.91 to go from 10% to 100%. Right. So, I mean, perspective, but I'm sure I'll be back into a gas engine sometime for the next vehicle with some things going on here. And but yeah, like this is not going to be sustainable for too long. So when the consumer begins to fail, that's when we're going to see some big issues. Now, is there going to be a recession? That's a different question altogether. And I say no, there won't be a textbook recession. The reason why there won't be a textbook recession is because of government spending. Did you know we spent $115 billion in the first 11 hours of the war with Iran? 115 billion, and we're still spending more. So when you think about that, the government spending goes up, consumption goes down. That'll kind of negate each other, and we'll still probably have a positive GDP. And if we do have a positive GDP, we won't be in a recession by textbook, but we will be in a recession. What I always call it this way: a Main Street recession. That's a me, a you, all of us will feel the recession, right? We will feel the recession, but by economist definitions, we won't have one. So, let me keep rolling here, and then I'm gonna jump out of here in like 5 minutes. So, because I know I got to be in that other one. So I'll do Circle and IPI real quick. Circle, look, this is one of those that this is around that stablecoin act. I still think Circle comes down, fills this gap before I would buy it. Just like I said, I actually did a video in this in the Wealth Watch. If you didn't catch it, watch it, right? Jerry, look into it a little bit deeper, right? Look into it a little bit deeper. Because it's not really, there's so much I could say there, but I'm gonna leave that one alone on this in this forum. 6313 is where I see the gap to get filled, and then we may see this thing rally up. Right, this is not what I even said. Hey, look, don't buy this now. This is pending legislation. If this legislation passes, then look to buy this. But we will see. Right, it has had good earnings over the last couple of quarters. Perhaps the next earnings, but that's not till June. Right, will be up. Let's see. According to AI expert, dentists are now being built have a 2-year life expectancy due to the technology advances. Exactly, William. And then also, I don't know if you were here at the beginning, right? A third to half of them are delayed, are going to be all fully canceled. All right. We have Circle IPI. I know somebody asked for that because did you not get out of it when I sent the I said, okay, get out of it at this price point, but all good. All right, down to 37.35. Again, that's a little bit. If we go back here and look at like the big fall, Tuesday, there's your announcement. Straits of Hormuz are now closed again, starting up Monday at 10 a.m. So this may have the next rally up on this, and that could be a nice little return as well. Let's see here. So, let's do one or two more. I'll try to fit them in very, very quickly. Soxel AOI. I'll try to get to. Soxel, again, with this AI data center stuff, like, look, we're out at all-time highs. If you're at all-time highs, I would probably take profit first thing in the morning because it's going to pull back. I'm going to tell you that now. I see a $20 fall in this immediately, in very, very quickly. So I would not continue to hold this. Whoever asked for Soxel, is that clear? You already see that as a rejection as well as a gap. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I 100% to see that, especially with what's going on here, the slowing of technology spending and all of that. So with that, guys, I have to run. I have to be in another session. I am 21 minutes late for that other session. So I thank you all for being here. I cannot wait to see you guys next week. We'll see you guys in next week's Sunday session as well. Have a good one. I will see you guys in webinars this week coming up, and look forward to having you guys in those presentations as well. If you need anything in the meantime, reach on out to us. Have a good one. Thank you so much.